TLEV fans, let me hear ya howl!
You're tuned in to the TLEV show on Classical FM, a scholarly news debate with your colleagues.
Oh, come on, man. It's the fun stuff, the nerd news. So grab a popcorn and a soda, crank your stereo to the max, and get ready to enjoy the most tubular show on the radio.
Hey, welcome to the TLEV show, where a group of us nerdy friends talk about the latest in pop culture news. I'm your host, Thomas Colmeyer, and no, that's not Thomas Colmeyer down below me. That's actually Mr. E, and to my left, to your right, is Mr. Zaragoza.
See,
We're going to be talking about...
I'm above you right now.
It's going to be weird when you say that now, because it's recorded on my end, so I'm on the right, Tim's on my left.
I'm above you right now.
We're all here.
You know what? It's Zoom. That's right. This is the first complete episode where we're doing only on Zoom. I'm back in Connecticut, and so that's why this is going to be completely on Zoom. But we're still going to be talking about the latest and greatest and debating some of the topics, like a trailer that came out the day of this recording.
Ooh.
Gentlemen, anything that we want to talk about specifically before we go into the docket for today? Any housekeeping items?
Yeah, we got birthdays.
Well, that's part of it.
It's part of house. I think I put that, yeah. No, I mean, another good week. Glad to be alive.
Yeah. We're all doing well?
Yeah.
We're still here.
Buccaneers
Thomas
won.
is gone.
Going to the Super Bowl.
This is a lonely
so
studio
shout out to my
now.
boy Sam. That's his team.
Sammy. We miss you, Sammy. All right.
Alrighty.
Let's go to the first thing. So as of this week, unfortunately, Larry King, who is a great person, and Zaragoza even brought up a great podcaster. A lot of what we're trying to do, a lot of what the world has tried to do in terms of interviewing and in terms of dissecting people comes from what he's taught. I'm actually thinking a lot about some of my favorite clips is when he mistakenly accused Jerry Seinfeld of having his show canceled. And it was him deciding to cancel the Seinfeld show. It's just like little clips of the little happy moments that are like just, blips of time. Those came from Larry King and those that he interviewed. So we are all feeling it. I know the whole world was mourning when learning of the passing of Larry King. But
Rest in peace.
Yeah,
we will continue with this podcast, but we just want to give a moment of respect and well wishes to his family and those his biggest supporters.
I think the original OG out of all of this, man.
He started it all. Well, he didn't start it, but he was, like you said,
pretty big
the
up
OG.
there.
Yeah. So rest in peace to a kid.
So now let's shift over to birthday week, celebrity birthdays, right? We always talk about a little bit of celebrity birthdays. We're going to start with Alicia Keys. She's turning, I don't even know how old she's turning.
We don't know. But
she's a number.
There wasn't that many this week. Not that many were born.
39. She's turning 39 this week. Thank you,
January.
producer off to the side. She's turning 39 this week. Happy birthday, Alicia Keys. Eddie Van Halen, it would have been his birthday on Tuesday. Another great that we lost recently.
Yeah.
But and to everybody else, all the TikTokers, all the YouTubers, all the others that are turning some age and celebrating one turn around the globe. Let's give one single clap, right? 3, 2, 1.
That was actually pretty good.
That was all right.
That was on point right there. That was good. Wow.
But now let's go and discuss and debate the biggest of the headline news for pop culture for today, and that is Godzilla vs. Kong trailer just dropped. Thoughts. I want to hear thoughts.
Well, I'll start by saying that I still have not seen Godzilla King of Monsters. Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
But I have seen Kong, and I have seen the other Godzilla movie, and I am rooting for King Kong.
Wow.
That's where I'm starting.
I got some theories already.
It's interesting. He has Stormbreaker somehow.
Something.
That's my joke.
Well, I once I saw that happening, I knew, this is kind of odd because I've never seen the original. So did he have a Stormbreaker like that?
No. You want to know what happens in the original? The guy
Tell us.
Kong bites electricity, and that's how he becomes more powerful. It's an electric bolt that hits him, And
like
literally they're
that.
making, like, the cast is making it up as they go. They're like, oh, Godzilla, Kong, he likes electricity stronger than Godzilla. And I'm like, what am I watching? Like, what is this? Japan, come on.
Yeah,
All
but
right.
like I don't know. I think the trailer, it looked all right. It looked pretty good. Still looks the same as like all the other movies. I mean,
Yeah.
I think the difference between the Kong movie and the Godzilla ones, I'd say, was like the colors for it. I remember the Kong movie was more vibrant. Now it just seems like it's more like the Godzilla world kind of thing, where it's like it's dark. It's like the Gotham feeling a little bit to it, which I don't know. It doesn't. I really liked Kong Skull Island. I really liked that one. That one was a good movie. I really liked it. I can't tell if there's anyone from that cast that's in this movie.
Well, no, that
Is
took place in like the
dude?
70s.
Oh, well,
It was
is
like
that
during
dude?
Vietnam that took place.
Okay, so they're all basically just
Yeah.
old.
Which I think everybody's biggest
Oh.
question was like, oh, how is King Kong going to be, like at that point he was only so high, not as big as Godzilla, and everybody's like, well, how is King Kong going to grow? Well, John C. Reilly clearly says, like, or someone says in that film that he's still growing and
Yeah.
that he's going to keep growing. So by the time we get this movie's going to take place present time, he'll be as big as Godzilla, so they won't have to do electricity or anything
Right.
like that. Thank God.
Well, and then you also have you also see that he's like there's this new little girl in the movie because
Yeah.
Because she
all
has
the
a
other little
doll
girls
of him.
are all older now.
Which they're keeping with that classic Kong storyline as to him always protecting someone.
Yeah.
Or, you know, something like that, which I like.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, like at least with this trailer, I think it looks like it's gonna be a fun movie to watch. But I just have that gut feeling that this movie's gonna bomb.
Yeah, it's kind of
Like everyone's even saying that on social media right now too.
So
well, I saw. Go ahead, Thomas. You didn't say anything.
So
yet.
I'll say that I might be a little biased because we did meet Michael Dougherty and we did have an exchange with him. He's a very, very sarcastic person, very much
Yeah.
like that. He was trolling us a little bit when I asked him what one holiday
he
that he
was.
would turn into a movie, and he said Passover, right? So he's definitely that kind of dude. I will say though, I think I'm a little too old for monster movies. That's what this trailer showed me. I watched this and I wasn't having it. I wasn't having it.
Well, that's
Never
because
too old.
you are not like a lot of the people probably watching that where they were raised on Godzilla. That
You
was
know,
their
it's funny you bring
thing.
that up. Let me tell you something. My dad's 51 years old and claims he is the kaiju expert.
All right.
So, you know, it's like you're never too old for a monster film.
There you go.
Maybe you're just starting to take interest in other things and just like that doesn't
Yeah.
interest you as much as it used to.
The monsters.
Yeah, I do remember watching late at night like the one movie where Mothra dies and then Mothra's babies like attack Godzilla by spewing like cocoon wrap around him, and
Well,
I
see,
remember
I've never been like a huge Godzilla fan. I'd never like built a oh my god, I gotta watch every single
That's true.
Japanese Godzilla movie ever. But I think the original King Kong was really
that's important to us.
what
The
got
original
me
King
into
Kong.
this. So I think I'm watching it
Jackson's
just
King
to root on the big Kong himself. Also, since we have said that we are uni boys, we have to.
We did say
You
that.
know?
So,
Yeah, even though this
so
is
we're
a
representing
Warner Brothers
Kong in
movie
this
now.
battle. All right.
Um,
so
It's
we're
a
Team
Warner
Kong.
Brothers movie with a uni animal.
I like. I mean, unlike my dad, I think I just like anything with giant monsters. So I grew up watching all the Godzilla films. My dad loves every Godzilla film, no matter how cheesy they are.
Really?
So I've seen just about all of them, and
Yeah.
I have to say, I mean, I think the biggest problem for like today's Godzilla is everybody's always mad about how he looks weight wise, and they made him too fat. You know, the roar's not good. That's usually what a lot of people who watch it that are from Japan. That's what they
Sure,
talk about because
sure.
they like the Japan films
Yeah.
as well. But I've always just been a fan of Godzilla, and to see two icons that are just known for like probably the two biggest monsters in all of cinema that everyone knows at this point. It's Godzilla and King Kong, usually the two that always struck out to everyone. To see them battle it out in looks like a much better fight. I think, just seeing Kong punch Godzilla's face. That was great. I was like,
That
oh
was
my
pretty
God.
cool. That was pretty cool when they're fighting on the big old ship.
like,
that was
carrier,
pretty.
yeah.
That was pretty gnarly.
I think Godzilla's under some kind of control though, man. It's not the same Godzilla we know.
Here's the thing. So exactly, because in the trailer he says like there's something. That one guy, he says there's something up with Godzilla, and Millie Bobby Brown also says that's not the Godzilla like they know or something like that.
So yeah,
but I did see someone break down the trailer that there's one part where Godzilla's like they're in the town, and they're saying that it looks like it's Mecha Godzilla, which is when Godzilla puts on it's Godzilla who puts on a metal suit, right?
No, it's
or it's just another
in the
Godzilla.
Japan film, they built a robot Godzilla to fight up against Godzilla, and it is the greatest thing ever.
So maybe Godzilla and Kong are gonna have to team up to fight Mecha Godzilla.
They're gonna be friends.
that's what
They're
I'm
gonna be
thinking.
friends. They're gonna be
yeah.
pals. Because there's no way they can end this like being like, oh yeah, Kong and Godzilla are gonna go to the death
Toe to toe.
to
Yeah.
find the king. Isn't it? It's I don't see that happening.
Right.
So I would think Mecha Godzilla is gonna come out. They're gonna have to take care of him, and voila.
I'm on the same boat. If they do bring Mechagodzilla in, that would be so amazing.
Pretty
I remember
crazy.
having this GameCube game. It was called Godzilla. Destroy
Yes,
All
I
Monsters.
remember that game. Oh my
and
gosh.
I would always play as Mechagodzilla, dude. It was so cool. And you know, I don't know. I think this way it's gonna end is if Godzilla is under some kind of control, because it does look like the real Godzilla, he's gonna snap out of it, and him and Kong, they're probably gonna have to fight other monsters. But in the past, you know, Godzilla's always liked to be he's always loved to be the king of monsters. So for King Kong to come in and be this other big monster, you know, that's kind of like showing Godzilla like, hey man, you know, that's my role, so I'm gonna have to kind of like take you down. But I don't know. We're gonna have to wait and see. HBO Max is getting it, and I'm excited for that.
Yeah,
Well,
exactly.
remember-
Because yet again, we see how Kong is being brought in. It's like he's not being brought in like how he wants to be brought in. It's literally he's
Like the original
chained
film,
up
another nod to
and
that.
he needs to be used for something. So,
Right.
yeah. But I think that's a good segue under mind control and stuff like that for
Oh
another
man, I didn't
thing.
say anything. Wow. Okay.
Tom
Oh wait,
Say
go ahead,
something.
say
You
something. I
wanted
just
to
thought that
say
was a good
something. I saw
segue
that.
right there. I thought that was a really good segue.
Yes, it was, and I feel bad to ruin it. I was just gonna say that I hope, Michael, that you don't make this movie like King of Monsters, where literally every time the monsters are about to collide, you cut to Vera Farmiga or you cut to Millie Bobby Brown. As much as I
well,
love
here
those
already in the
actresses-
trailer, we saw them colliding. So
yeah, but that was
We-
also
we've seen
like the
that.
trailer for
That
King
could be
of
like
Monsters.
the
You
first. That
saw
could be
them
like the only 20
collide
minutes
that.
of fighting that's in the whole movie.
Yeah.
I hope not.
So,
that would
I really, really hope that the fight sequences are better than they were in King of Monsters, and way less whatever Stormbreaker that Kong is holding than it looks
that
like
was
in
weird.
the trailer.
What is that gonna mean?
It looks like it did something pretty cool. It freaking deflected Godzilla's freaking radiation breath. and I
Yes,
was
like
oh my God.
Stormbreaker did with all the stone
yeah,
blast from
exactly.
Thanos. Yes, I saw that movie. I don't need to see that
But
movie
no,
again.
what Thor didn't do is he didn't run with Stormbreaker. Kong was holding the thing and diving
Yeah.
towards King Kong.
And
That's
he didn't
pretty
go for
good.
the head. Yes, we all saw the movie.
Well, hopefully he went for
he's
for
going for
his
the heart.
head this time. You know. So,
Oh well, yeah, yeah. Okay, no, I don't want to. I don't want to see that.
I just
All
want
right,
to see two big
okay.
monsters fight.
Segue,
Yeah.
yes, let them fight. Speaking of let them fight, let's talk about WandaVision because there's a lot of.
that was bad.
I tried.
The other how Zaragoza was going with it. That was the best way.
What?
I
We were
tried.
talking about how there's mind control and all that stuff.
Oh, yeah.
I felt like that was a better segue.
WandaVision
Okay,
episode 3, man. I'm excited. This was a triple
Yes.
one.
Should we talk about? I want to just briefly mention because Zaragoza, I'm going to give you full reign on this because I didn't really spot any Easter eggs in this episode.
Ooh.
Because I was more honestly,
Watching?
like if we're gonna do first thoughts, I was disappointed in this episode.
Ooh.
You were disappointed in this episode.
I was disappointed. I think maybe it was just
Wow.
because, it was a 25-minute episode, and had a lot. Like, to me, they kind of really stepped away from the whole gimmick of the like time things, because there was, like, even though you hear the laugh track to next to me, there was moments where the laugh track was like used when it wasn't supposed to be funny, so like that was kind of cool. Yeah, like that.
I love it.
I felt like this was more focused on, okay, this is not normal. So it just, for me, like 25 minutes. I know we've gone to part with streaming where it's like you have the whole season at your fingertips that you can watch whenever, to now having to wait weekly. And last week we had like a full hour of content, and now we have 25 minutes.
But I know it's
I
like
think it's
Disney's
also-
pattern lately, though. It's
Yeah.
like they always launch their seasons with like 2 episodes. Like they did that with Mandalorian last
Right.
season too.
Well, so that's what I was gonna say with Mando. It's like it was, each episode was still longer than 25 minutes,
Yeah.
and I think we were getting used to that longer, at least 35 to an hour length episodes. And here they're keeping it 25 minutes. But I would say for the 25 minutes, for what they're doing in those 25 minutes, I'd say it's better than some parts in Mandalorian that they were doing in this longer time. I disagree that this was not a good episode. I think it was actually, it's making us think more and more like, okay, Wanda's got some sort of say in this new world. Or at least that's what we have to think now, is how come Geraldine is thrown out of something that looks like a bubble to us? So now we're getting an idea. We're thinking more. We're not just speculating anymore. It's like, okay, we have something to grab onto and we can use that. It's not just Easter eggs anymore. We have some kind of evidence that we can use to make, I guess we can make speculation, but we can use that instead of little Easter eggs.
And
So
by the
I
way,
thought that was good.
By the way, for our listeners, spoilers ahead. We're gonna be talking about the entire
Oh
episode
yeah, my
3.
bad.
I think you just gotta,
I
you
was-
just gotta
it's-
slap that before the
Yeah,
audience.
literally,
Yes.
it's like you guys know the episode has been out now. It's like
Yeah.
it's always going to be spoilers when
Yeah.
we talk about it.
We're always talking about the episodes. So if you haven't seen them yet, go watch them and then come listen to this podcast. But okay, all right. So those are your thoughts. Tony,
Yeah.
what are your thoughts?
No, it's you mentioned that this one didn't really include a lot of Easter eggs, and that's a lot of what I've been reading, because I always go after each episode. I usually have to wait till the next day because I usually watch it at midnight. So when I wake up in the morning, by the time all the articles are already out. So everybody was saying that this one was way more plot driven than throwing in Easter eggs.
Yeah.
Okay,
This one
okay.
was a lot more to set up what's to come and some situations to come in the next couple episodes. And I'll get down on theories and stuff that I have for the whole bubble scene later.
Ooh,
but
okay.
I felt like this one was an interesting episode and really tied a lot of things into the comics, which I loved. And I cannot, like I keep saying every week, I just cannot wait for the next episode. Like this one left me like, it's one of those things where these shows leave you wanting more, and
Wanting
like when
more,
the
yeah,
episode
yeah.
ends, you're like, oh come on, I gotta wait a whole nother week to see what happens.
Exactly. Yeah.
I am super excited to see what's gonna happen next week, and I thought this episode it was good in the beginning, and it took a really dark turn towards the end, which I loved.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Yeah, that's
I
true,
think
yeah.
I love what Marvel's doing with the show. This is something completely new that we've never seen in the MCU, and I love it so much.
No, you know who's also probably loving it right now is the freaking editors of these episodes. They are probably loving this right
Yeah.
now. They can just, these twisted editors are just messing with you.
They're like they
I
go to their
mean,
editors. They're like, so you know how we do the movies? Yeah, don't do that. Do whatever.
Don't
you
do
want.
it that way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Make it as mess it up a little bit just to
Yeah.
mess
Put
with
this in
everyone.
here just to throw someone one way, but then we're gonna turn them that way.
Yeah, exactly. All right, should we break it down?
Sure. So one thing that I want to say at the very beginning, that we noticed right before we even pressed play, the episodes have title names now.
Oh yeah.
They don't.
Yeah,
they
there's
did not
title
have
names.
title
That.
names. They had episode. It was called episode 1 and episode 2, and now they have title names. The first episode is called "Filmed Before a Live Studio Audience."
Got a live studio audience.
There you go, they got a
That's
lot
the
of them.
audience. Thank you, audience. The second one is Don't Touch That Dial. And this third episode is called Now in Color. So.
But I don't think they have to do with anything, because if you think about the titles, they're just like.
Well, it makes sense. I mean, each title is relevant to each episode.
Yeah, because
They're just like facts. That's it.
Maybe it's a deeper meaning. Maybe if we decode like every fifth letter, it spells out something.
or someone just got fired for not putting the titles when they first launched.
They got in trouble. Yeah,
but
exactly.
Okay, so Tony, I will first before we dive in. I'm gonna send. I figured out something that we've been thinking about and that we kind of forgot. Like we were like, what does this number mean? So it's the number of the house. I actually figured it out, guys.
Ooh.
The 2800. I figured it out. It's
It's
actually
not
a reference.
2800. It's 2008.
No, it's 2800. It's a reference
2800.
to. It's a reference to Endgame. And I just sent you guys the photos of what it's a reference to Endgame. So let me know when you get those
My
photos.
phone's connected to the
Well,
TV.
I didn't get it yet. It's
That's how I'm watching
going
the
to take
football
a
game.
while. Oh, I got it. I'll tell you.
Yes.
Oh, what the heck, man?
Is this something?
Look at it. Look at it.
That's so stupid.
Tell me what it is. Tell me what you see.
It's I don't
No.
It's right there because Fortnite was the big thing in
No.
Endgame, and for just $15 you could get
There's
2,800
no Fortnite in the
V-Bucks.
70s and the 60s and the 50s.
know. It's not really the
It's
70s.
it's the
though.
Easter
Aha.
egg. It's the Easter egg that connects Noob Master 69.
I love how
Just like
Josue is
question
just
marks.
not in the loop of everything, and he's just good. He texts back confused.
Noob Master 69 is who's in charge of WandaVision. Boom. Theory closed.
New master.
Oh my god. I don't know why you even sent that. I don't want to do this anymore.
I hope you slap that photo on, because when you see my reaction for that, you just
Yes.
I don't like that game. So
Yes.
Nobody
Yes, well,
does anymore.
Apparently it's still around in 2020.
my cousin plays
Yeah,
it. And
they
I'm like,
just
you're better
added.
than
They
that,
just
dude.
added Sarah Connor and the T1800 in there.
Okay, now we're talking way too much about Fortnite.
Well,
It was a
you brought
one-off
it up.
joke. Let's now talk about the episode. Zaragoza, tell us what happens in this episode.
Yeah.
Do you want? Okay. Do you want me to tell it, or do you want me to explain things that I've read and found too, as well as we go?
At the same time, yeah. Break it down.
Okay,
scene
so
by
let's
scene.
start off with the intro. Obviously, this one's supposed to be the Partridge Family and the Brady Bunch. Is what I've been seeing a lot, especially with just the overall house looking kind of like the Brady Bunch. The Wanda's hairstyle looking like one of the members of the Brady Bunch.
Yeah.
Also, the color schemes when they show individual parts of like each character. Wanda has like, of course, the red color scheme going on with her. If you've noticed that, and then something in the background would be red. And of course, with Vision, when he's putting together the swing set and his outfit, it's the green and yellow, which is Green Bay Packers. I don't know why they chose that. No, I'm just kidding. It's the it's his obviously it's his
Original color.
his original colors.
Yeah.
So I thought that was a little cool little throw in. And obviously the five
Hexagons.
hexagon is returning again. So that's a
Yeah.
reoccurring theme.
Well, what about the music that's
six.
playing behind? What are the lyrics?
Not octagon.
That yeah,
Huh?
It's like building it's like it's good. It's just the two of. I don't remember.
Oh,
which
the
show.
two, you and me means a family or something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah,
But I forgot.
so
I think it's
basic-
either Brady Bunch or Partridge Family that they took the like kind of overall. Like if you compare the two themes, they kind of sound similar.
Okay.
I forgot which one, but it was one of
It's
those
probably
70s
Partridge
sitcoms
Farm.
that they took.
Yeah.
Like, the
Or
kind of
family.
overall thing
Partridge.
from.
Pepperidge Farm. There we go. Pepperidge Farm remembers.
Yeah.
Anyways, go ahead.
So we start the episode obviously off with Scarlet Witch being pregnant, which was a cliffhanger from episode 2. Her and Vision are talking to the doc. You know, they're trying to see what's going on, how this happened, because Vision is still trying to figure out how this happened. He's like, I really can't do that. So how is this
Yeah.
possible? And the doctor is kind of like confused a little bit, but he's kind of like still playing the role. And he's really just like, well, when he breaks it down, he's like, well, one, goes and then the other go and then they, they mate. And I was like, I thought that was hilarious. It's kind of like your typical 70s
like
when they
70s
broke
show,
stuff down like that. But I want to talk about a pregnancy because it is a speed pregnancy that happens throughout the entire episode. We'll get into more as we go on. That's something straight from the comics, which I thought was amazing. She does the same thing where she has, obviously the twins, and from the comics, and it's literally the same exact thing that happens in the show, which I thought was such an amazing nod for people who are fans of, again, the story of which led up to House of M, which has been thrown around a lot for this show, which I think is amazing. But I think the roles will be reversed. Instead of wiping mutant kind, she'll spawn in mutant kind.
Oh, I like that theory. That's a nice one.
Break a ripple into the multiverse, which another thing I read too is that Multiverse of Madness is going to happen way before and way after Doctor Strange. So it's not only just one thing.
Ooh.
So it might start as early as WandaVision.
Movie?
Like the Multiverse of Madness, kind of like the whole storyline, it's going to go way past just Doctor Strange. Like it's going to start.
Oh, it's going to keep going.
WandaVision's going to set it up, and then shows are going to keep elaborating on it.
I see. Okay.
Whoa.
Okay.
So I mean that makes sense with Spider-Man, with this show, Doctor Strange so far. Who knows what other? Maybe Eternals. I don't know.
I don't know about Eternals. Eternals is going to be something
It's probably
else.
its own thing.
I have my thoughts about Eternals. I really feel like Eternals is. Let's just keep going.
Yeah,
That's a different time.
I feel you. I mean, I'm still iffy
story
about it,
for
but
another
I'm a little
time.
excited if they bring in a teenage Thanos, which has been rumored to be happening. So, let's talk about this. Is a little bit, and we'll go back to some stuff. But I want to, since we're on the topic of her being pregnant.
Yes.
I want to talk about her kids because it also relates to the comic as well.
Right.
Billy and Tommy.
the names, yes.
Wiccan and Speed
Yes.
is who they're known as in the comics. They're mutants. This is a bigger storyline than I thought, and they're really going through with this, and I hope to God they're going through with this. Wiccan and Speed are actually parts of Mephisto's body in the comics.
Ooh.
They're actually his fingers, so they complete Mephisto, and that's what drives Wanda to go mad and erase mutant kind.
Oh, shit.
So, are we seeing the setup slowly progressing for Mephisto more, especially with the birth of the twins? Now,
So they're both the twins. They're both boys, right?
they're both boys.
Yes.
They're named Billy and Tommy, which in the comics their
Okay, so
hero
that's
names
what-
are
'cause
Wiccan
they-
and Speed.
They have that. They have that like little debate between what they're gonna name the boy,
Yeah,
Billy or Tommy.
that was
right?
something later on, and we'll go back and forth to that. But that was something that when I was on the topic of the pregnancy, I was like, and I heard the names, I was like, all right, we're starting to get somewhere here, and I'm liking where this is going. Like it's like really starting to build something where a lot of theories of Mephisto and Nightmare are coming true. But we still got to find out. We still got what, like 6
Yeah.
episodes left.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, do we bore you, Mr. E? Is that what this is?
So I thought that was a little interesting. Now, this is where stuff takes an interesting turn. We're going to go back a little bit. This is right after they meet with the doctor. Vision's omnious Shakespearean quote.
Oh,
one-
yes.
What was his quote?
All the
quote-
men's and women's are the world is a stage, and all the men's and women's
are merely
his-
players.
Yeah, are merely
And
players.
then he
yeah.
goes, they have their exits and they have their entrances.
When does he say that?
He says that.
So that what he's talking about.
He's reading up about, I think, pregnancy and stuff like that. Because he's trying to He's trying to figure this all out.
No. It's when he mentions that he wants the name William. And it
Oh
made
yeah,
me really
yeah,
happy.
that's right.
Oh, yeah.
And it made me happy to hear Paul Bettany say William, because I haven't heard him say William since A Knight's Tale.
But yeah, wasn't he trying to figure out, like, he was trying to, in that meantime too, he was trying to figure out how pregnancy works and stuff, because he doesn't know any of that really.
Yeah, so that was during, those are like two different conversations that they have
Right.
simultaneously when they're debating the name between Tommy and Billy, and then
Right.
after trying to, when he's saying like, I'm so excited to be a papaya, and like the fruits,
That's right. Yeah,
and,
they're talking about the.
and then
yeah.
making making
The fruits,
the
yes,
spare
yes.
room, making the nursery.
Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of their
wanna talk
nursery,
about the
that was a
nursery?
good segue. Thank you for bringing up the nursery.
Ooh.
this is just something that was just kind of thrown in there for just maybe a little thank you for the storyboard artist. But the paint is named after Jeremy Simser. I don't know how to pronounce his last name, but the paint's like Simser. It's just a reference to the storyboard artist of the show who brought all this to life. So that was a cool little reference, little throw in there. I mean, I think what better way to throw in a storyboard artist than
Yeah.
that was cool. This one, so it's weird when I look up
you're
these
away
things
from
on
the
the
mic.
internet.
There we go.
They usually put these out of order or they put them in order. I think it's just whatever they talk about the biggest references first and then the smaller ones.
Okay.
Let's talk about Hydra Soak.
You want to jump all the way there? All right. Okay. Fine. Let's do it.
Hydra seems to be in a reoccurring theme in
It's
this
an
show.
interesting one, yeah.
Telling me,
Yeah.
are they still around? Are they really the bad guys of all this? What's going on?
So let's break down that entire ad. The first part of the ad that it was actually Missy who pointed it out, and she's not here, so I'll speak for her. When she said that the woman who we've seen in all the other previous ads,
Yeah.
when the voiceover says, "Are you tired of blah blah blah?" she responds with, "You read my mind." And Missy was immediately like, "Oh, read my mind." Like that was like, okay, so does that mean one of two things? That this really is in Wanda's mind, or is Hydra really probing her mind and creating all these illusions for her?
We gotta take in mind too. Hydra was the reason why Wanda and Quicksilver were created in the first place.
Yeah.
So that's always a good throwback to remind us about Hydra. And when we thought they were gone, I mean, just like the old saying goes, "Cut one head off, two heads grow back."
And Hydra.
Yeah.
Hydra.
I mean, I think Hydra has probably one of the greatest logos in comic book
It's a
history.
pretty baller logo, yeah.
That's dope, dude. So,
But
I like
but
it.
Mystery, you had a problem with this new logo, didn't you?
Well, this one, it looked a lot more to the octopus tentacle side of it. But I think it's because it was the soap. That's why they were going towards that part more.
Holy, I didn't even notice that. Thank God.
Yeah,
Right here. That's just cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's something like, what's the tagline? Because I think the tagline is
Ooh,
also
I don't remember.
Find the goodness within.
Yeah.
so it can show once again this idea, which I'm really surprised. But no, you want to talk about Easter eggs. I'm really surprised that you didn't talk about Vision's other monologue, but where this is like find the goodness within. Maybe this really is Wanda trying to keep all the good things in her life pinned together when so much of her world has been shattered post Endgame.
What if Vision is Hydra?
It's possible. Vision. We're going to talk about all that at the end. I'm still waiting for you guys to touch on every Easter egg because I have a lot of things to say at the end.
Yeah. I mean,
Keep going, Zaragoza.
the Hydra thing for me, man. I'm so stuck on that right now because that's the second mention of Hydra that we've gotten within the last 2 episodes.
And it won't be the last one.
So I actually watched a podcast with the guy who is the host of the commercials. He said he literally came in for like a week, filmed all of his scenes, and that was it. He didn't know what was going on. He didn't know what happened. Like he is literally watching these episodes as us. Like he wasn't given the entire script. He was just given the scene that he had to do, and that was it. So I thought that was kind of cool to. Like he was kind of separate from the actual show, you know what I mean?
And we could totally thank Mark Ruffalo and Tom Holland for that because ever since like the beginning of Infinity War, the actors have only ever gotten parts of the script.
Yeah.
Only a handful, like Robert Downey Jr. and Chris Evans, have ever gotten the full script to know exactly what's happening for those characters.
I don't really think they need the full script though if they're only doing the one scene.
No.
Yeah. I mean,
That's the one role that I would want in that show, to be that guy.
Yeah,
wanna
and like
be
the
that.
producer
Have
off
another
screen
one.
is saying, like even Brie Larson, she had no idea what her powers were in Endgame. She
Yeah.
just knew she was
She
there
filmed
flying
Endgame before
around. She
Captain
didn't know
Marvel.
what she was flying for.
Yep, exactly.
if you're a fan of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., I mean, this was pointed out in this article, ScreenRant.com. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. viewers will chuckle as Coulson himself referred to Hydra's Hydra's mind control soap.
Interesting.
So I thought that was when I read that, I was like, that's pretty funny. Like,
So there are Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. fans. All right.
yeah.
No
I heard the
offense.
show got
No
better
offense to Agents of
as it
S.H.I.E.L.D.
went on.
fans.
Like after they did when they were mixing with Endgame and on the
Didn't they
Infinity
bring
War.
Ghost Rider in?
Yeah, that's when I started watching it again, and then they took him off. I'm like, all right, I'm done with the show again. I love Ghost Rider. They needed to bring Ghost Rider back into the MCU.
Yes, there we
Maybe
go.
soap, because soap is slippery, so we're entering a slippery scenario. Slippery slope.
Slippery slope, apparently.
Do you want me to keep going in the order of Easter eggs, or do you want to talk about a different order right now?
Oh, but is there anything else in that ad?
I want to talk about the edit part. I want to talk about when we get to that. When it,
Well, that's like
Okay, but
towards
that's
almost
not an
the-
Easter egg. We're doing Easter eggs first, and then
Well,
we'll.
I mean,
Yeah, I
that's
guess.
just we'll talk about that. But
I know.
as far as the ad goes,
Anticipation.
obviously they talk about episode 1 being Stark Industries, the bomb that almost killed her as a child.
Yeah.
Episode 2 reference
Yeah.
Baron von Strucker.
and this time
which
was
is-
just Hydra.
The experience. Episode 3 continues the theme with the ad of Hydra Soak. Find the goodness within. Obviously, people are referencing Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Okay.
They're saying that this probably references the Mind Stone.
The you read my mind part, yeah.
Yeah. Itself transforming Wanda into the Scarlet Witch. Oh, this is a good one. It says, but no, it supports a retcon that could transform Wanda into a mutant or a sorceress in the MCU. One that was first seeded in the Marvel Studios visual dictionary. It said the quote says, "She may be called Scarlet Witch," the book noted, "but Wanda's powers aren't derived from the occult. Whether it altered her or merely unlocked something latent inside Wanda, the Infinity Stone on Loki's scepter bestowed the incredible powers of the mind."
Okay, so going to find the goodness within, like unlocking.
So it
something
says
from
it is
within.
possible the Mind Stone did not grant Wanda powers, but rather unlocked something that was inside of her to finding the goddess within. So
Right.
that's interesting if they want to introduce mutants in the future.
That's pretty cool. All right, keep going.
Yeah.
All right, should we talk about the big freaking $1 million question? Our informant within of WandaVision that just shocked me. I mean,
What?
which shouldn't have shocked me, but
The what?
Geraldine.
Geraldine.
That shocked you. Okay. All right.
Geraldine.
Shouldn't have
Go on.
shocked
Go
me,
on with
but
that
it
thought.
did. And it kind of, you know what? Like I was shocked, but at the same time I wasn't shocked
Right.
because I was shocked to find out that, and we'll talk about this line later, when she dropped the infamous line, "Ultron killed Pietro." That shocked me because I was like, "Whoa!" First
Right,
mention
yeah.
of Quicksilver since what was it? Civil War, maybe,
That was probably the
or
last.
was it?
Yeah,
was it actually? Was it
Yeah,
actually
Civil War
Age
was
of
the last
Ultron?
time we heard about him.
No, because she's super sad. You remember, and she talks about.
Might have been Age of Ultron. I don't think she talks about Pietro in Civil War. It
No,
might have been
'cause
Age
she
of
talks
Ultron
about
the last
home,
time.
but she doesn't talk about.
I'm
yeah.
pretty sure she mentions him in Civil War.
I gotta rewatch that.
Pretty
But
sure.
let's just say it's been nearly 4 or 5 years since
It's
we've heard
been a
that name.
long time.
Yeah.
It's been a
Yeah.
long time that we heard him.
Basically,
when
like
Wanda
after he
still had
died, it
an
was just in the
accent.
back burner. Like, yeah, he's not coming back. Forget about him. Let's move on. Which was sad to me. I was like, you
Don't
brought him in for
forget.
one film and that's it.
Well, you didn't see that coming?
You didn't see that coming? But I think that this character, obviously, we find out working for Sword.
Okay. Well,
But it's interesting though.
Which, going back to it, Captain Marvel and Sword is a big thing in the comics. So, and she is technically a Captain Marvel character right now
Geraldine.
in the MCU. So this is, I think honestly, we're missing the bigger picture of Captain Marvel 2 here. Then they're not, I mean, everyone's focused on Doctor Strange and Spider-Man with the multiverse. I think Sword's gonna have a big part in Captain Marvel 2.
I don't think you're wrong there.
Well, they gotta
So-
do. But here's the thing. But when she brings up Pietro, it seems like something changes in her.
We are okay. Are we done with the Easter eggs, or are we breaking down the
Well,
episode?
he
yet?
was
It's both. I mean,
talking
when you
about
break down
Geraldine.
Easter eggs, you're breaking down the
Keep
episode.
What was the
going.
other Easter egg?
Just go with it.
Okay,
Just go with
fine.
it.
Just go through all the Easter eggs.
Just go with the Easter
I have
eggs, then
so
we'll break
much I
down
want
the
to say, but I'm gonna forget.
With
That's the
Monica,
problem.
obviously, it was the sword was the logo that was like we saw.
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
That's a little thing.
Yes.
Gravio cereal, little
What's that?
marshmallow moon men, That's what the catch line was called. A younger version of Monica appeared in Captain Marvel, which was set in obviously 1995, meaning now she's all grown up and presumably a member of SWORD. Monica's true backstory is alluded to in her Gravity O's serial with Little Marshmallow Moon Men. She's one of few people on Earth to have direct experience with aliens and may have trained in zero gravity environments.
Wait. When did they talk about cereal?
She brings it up. Wanda, I guess it's brought up because it's obviously an Easter egg.
Okay.
Either
Man,
it's brought
they do
up
these deep,
or
dorky
it's
cuts,
just a reference to
dude.
her, but it's part of the Easter egg list, so I'm just
Is
reading
it
through
during the opening intro that we see her eat cereal or something?
Yeah, I think it was during the intro. We see her real quick with like a cereal box or something like that.
All right. Fine.
So that was cool. Another Easter egg, first mention, of course, of Pietro and Ultron since Age of Ultron. It's been some time. That was obviously
Sworn it was
Ultron killing Pietro.
Rest in peace.
Ultron dying. Sword symbol. The reality bubble. That was something. That was.
What about the location?
So that's what
What about
people
the
think. It's
location?
the reality stone.
What's up?
Why is they calling it the reality bubble? Is that
So it says WandaVision episode 3 reveals Westview is currently covered beneath a sort of reality bubble. Although interestingly, the lack of Wanda's signature reds suggests she may not have been the one to create it. Such reality bubbles have rarely been associated with Scarlet Witch's powers in the comics. In fact, the design is reminiscent of the reality bubbles created in interdimensional incursions of Jonathan Hickman's Avengers run. There, different worlds were colliding, and reality was a flux at the point of contact between the dimensions. It is possible Wanda is caught at the insertion, and that her own powers are interacting with it.
Aha.
I like that idea.
So,
All right, let's do a breakdown of the scene that's like the penultimate scene, where, well, at least it's supposed to be the penultimate, and then it completely shifts. But
also, there's Daydreamer Believe by the Monkees.
yes,
which-
yeah, that I think is an amazing song choice by the Monkees at the very end of this.
Great song.
Amazing choice.
Let's talk about it now.
Let's talk
break it
about.
down.
Yeah. All right. So, very beginning, right? Vision is completely confused by the fact that now Wanda has been pregnant. Interesting, though, he says overnight. I think that's a very interesting point that these days each are a different decade. It's not like we're seeing 1 week of their life, another week. This is literally in sequence. That this was like the night before they were in the 60s. Now they're in the 70s.
Yeah, exactly.
And
That's weird.
everybody's like, okay, this is just our reality. It doesn't really seem like it's changing that much. How about let's talk about how the house is the same house. They've redecorated it, but unlike from the 1950s to the 1960s, it is the same house, same stair structure, the same, and maybe it's because of that transition of the color where we see like a whole pan of the house. It's the same house. There is no Sokovian prison wallpaper. That's now the brick wallpaper, just bricks. So
Brick.
Gosh. Okay. So Vision says goodbye to the doctor, and then he sees Herb is cutting his hedge, and Herb starts cutting the wall, the concrete
Doesn't the
wall.
doctor say something when he leaves?
No, that's the second time. No, he just said he's gonna go to Bermuda. So
yeah.
don't see me back later.
Bermuda.
Bermuda, where people are known for disappearing in
What if Westview is like
Spaghetti.
a Bermuda?
the triangle, Illuminati.
There you go. Marvel's Illuminati. There you go. So he sees Herb is cutting the wall, and so he tries to make a joke about it. Laugh track goes off, and he's like, "Oh, so I have," and he's like staring blankly like this while still cutting the wall.
So
Yeah,
weird.
that's so stupid. I don't get it. I'm scary.
It's a glitch.
But it is.
Yeah.
But I think what's very interesting in comparison to the previous episode, when the camera cuts away and then comes back later to Herb and Agnes, the wall is still cracked.
yeah.
Unlike with the radio, when it's "Who's doing this to you, Wanda?" explodes and then is fixed the very next scene. So I think that shows like this fake reality is starting to crack.
Yeah.
And that's just my thoughts on that.
No, yeah. Yeah, 'cause
but
you bring that
also-
up, and Agnes is...
Producer next to me had a really good point. Wanda was present for the first part with the fixing of the radio, wasn't present for the cracking of the wall.
I don't even think she saw it.
Yeah, she didn't even see it.
Yeah.
So, but also, why is Herb still outside? Like, how much time happens in between the whole delivery and all that kind of stuff, and why is Herb still outside?
Well, interesting enough, something that I
With
read
his
was
tools and stuff.
whatever control they were under, like they may have snapped out of it for a second, but they were still kind of like in a shock phase of like what they're doing there. Mm-hmm. And then when he talks to them, if you notice, he's kind of snapped back into it a little bit. But him kind of, they kind of mentioned it as like him cutting the wall as like almost like a glitch in the Matrix, where something was happening where he was cutting and he just keeps cutting and cutting and cutting, and it's just like he doesn't know. And then he kind of snaps out of like what happened, and then so they're all kind of everyone. It seems like everyone in this town are real, but they're being controlled like someone's controlling them.
Like when the doctor says, small towns, so hard to escape.
Yeah,
Yes.
And he
exactly.
looks all sad and he walks away.
And notice the doctor never got to go to Bermuda. We don't know that first yet, but I mean,
So-
he's
His
on the
car
lead.
breaks down.
I know that we'll talk theories later, but yeah, so still breakdowns. Vision's monologue when he says, I know what you mean, because this is after Wanda says things seem off. And he says, Mr. and Mrs. Hart the other night, Herb just outside. And there's a moment he looks directly in the camera. He's looking directly at the audience.
Breaks the wall. Breaks the fourth. Breaks the wall again. Breaking the fourth wall. Another broken wall. Another broken wall. Oh no!
The
Everything's
wall
breaking.
was fun
was
just
showing
watching
that
Tim
the
go,
wall
the
was
wall,
going to be
breaking the
broken
wall.
the following scene. Damn. Oh my God, Mr. E, you should write these episodes.
Dang. Another wall is broken. What is happening?
Good metaphor.
And so then we see like a blip, right? And it looks like the scene's just reset. And then it's
Yeah.
like, yes, I know what you mean. We're going in uncharted territory as parents. And he doesn't look at the camera ever again.
It's like a hard edit. Like when we
I found
mess
that
up when
so
we're
like
filming.
I was watching the show. I'm like, did my internet just lag or
That's what,
something?
dude,
What happened?
everyone thought that. Everyone thought that. Yeah.
It was like, what? It was just, that shows. And I think I honestly prefer this over Wanda's no. And then unless.
But that's also for the time. That's why, because it was all cassette kind of VHS
all
or
film.
rewind.
Right.
You know, that was like edited. 70s. We're on to hard editing now.
Yeah.
So-
I mean, it was just still kind of weird though, just to have like a cut that goes backwards, and she wanted everybody to forget about that with the whole the beekeeper.
Or, see, here's the thing. What if that part was actually Wanda? This part wasn't Wanda.
That makes sense because Wanda. Well,
Interesting.
yeah, you know what? It's funny that you bring that up because a lot of theories this episode were like, oh, then it seems like this episode someone was controlling it and not Wanda this time.
I don't know.
Well, but
because,
that's odd. But that's odd. See, maybe it's more of a mix. In this episode, you see it's more of a mix compared to the other episodes where, well, no, because the first one, she's being watched. We know that. Second one, we see that she has more control, I think. And this third one, now it's a mix of two. So does that mean by the fourth one, it's not Wanda at all?
honestly, I felt like this whole episode was a red herring.
I'm gonna save my WandaVision episode 4 theory for later on.
Okay, okay.
Because I got a good one. It revolves around Monica, who is played by
Okay.
What was her name? Geraldine.
Geraldine. No, I felt like this whole episode was really supposed to be like the Twilight Zone episode, It's a Good Life, where it's this little boy who has this power to literally make people disappear.
Oh, that was in the movie too, wasn't it?
Huh?
Yeah.
That was in the
He
movie
wishes
too,
them
wasn't
away.
it? It was in the movie too, right? Twilight
Yeah,
Zone movie?
yeah. In the movie too. Yeah.
That was a freaky one.
He wishes them away. He's literally able to
they're
turn
gone.
one man into a Jack in the Box.
Yeah.
Like he says, you're a very bad man, and turns him into a Jack in the Box. So very much like how Wanda's like, oh, she had to rush home. And then next thing we see is Monica go through the barrier. But I truly believe like that, yes, that was Wanda completely. And everybody's probably afraid of Wanda, like the Herb saying, she's not from here, or Agnes saying no home, and And Herb saying the reason is because we're all, and then Agnes is like,
Yes.
I truly believe that's to make us believe that everybody's under Wanda's control. That's why I feel like this is all red herring, because I think it's Agnes who really is still.
To mention
Mephisto's
something with
puppet.
Agnes too, third episode in a row, she's wearing that button again.
That little brooch, yeah.
I'm just
Did you see it this
man.
time though? Did you get a good look of it?
Everything I'm seeing now, it's in color. It's a little bit easier to see, but you can see two people standing on the side of someone that's higher, holding a scythe.
Oh, is that what it was? I thought it was a halo.
I think a lot of people are
was an
referencing it to
umbrella.
Macbeth's Three Witches story or something like that.
The Three Witches of Macbeth, yes.
Yes, that's what a lot of people are referencing it to, but they're not 100%. I mean, again,
Right.
when they show it, it's very far away and kind of hard to see. They have
Well, that's
not
the
closed
point.
up on it too much,
Yeah.
so
Oh.
Yeah.
In the words of John Murdy, by the pricking of my thumbs, something wicked this way comes.
Shazam.
Shazam?
What about? So are we gonna
Shazam
talk?
showing up next episode.
Are we gonna talk about the Geraldine, like the snap between Geraldine's reactions?
Well, right before that, what do you guys think about all the magic in this episode?
Of like the freaking
Like,
bird coming off the wall when it was
I
painted
see
on
what
there
you're
and stuff.
talking about. Yeah,
That was
you did mention
hilarious.
this, Thomas, before.
She's
So-
like trying to like ship him away while they're having a conversation. I was just dying.
Yeah.
And he doesn't go away.
No. So that was interesting.
And I say he because it's a stork. And what do storks bring? Babies. And what is this idea of Mephisto bringing
It's
the
Mephisto.
twins to come back to his full power? What if that's why he's not an apparition of hers, but an apparition of Mephisto to watch over his children being born?
Marvel, I am praying to you. Please bring Mephisto into this universe. I have been waiting. Now I just want to know who would. Oh, we'll talk about. Well, yeah, I'll save that for later. Let's get on with the episode.
But I truly believe like when she like has the contractions that change her coat, when her water breaks and it's like all the
was hilarious.
sprinkler heads and the spinning frames and everything. I don't think that's her. I think that's Wiccan. I think it's the baby having all that uncontrolled power that's like maybe stealing away her power and her essence to make her more docile in this world for whatever Mephisto and Agnes and want to do.
Have you ever seen the opinion piece where people are like they want Bruce Campbell to play Mephisto?
That would be dope, especially because freaking Sam Raimi is directing Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness.
Oh, that would be cool. He has to come back. Sam Raimi always has him in a movie anyway, so he would have to come back.
That's
somehow.
me, baby.
That'd be cool.
There you go. But
Groovy.
yeah, the idea that it's not just it wasn't it wasn't. Oh my God, Scarlet Witch doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I don't think it was her. I don't think it was her.
It's hard to tell, really,
It is
because
hard.
some things you know it was her, but then some things you're just kind of questioning reality at that point, which they want you to do. And I think that's the fun part of this show is every week you're asking yourself these questions. Is she doing this or is this someone else doing this? The biggest theory right now is they're thinking, obviously there's three people that you're thinking right now. Agnes, obviously, we're thinking she's Agatha, the witch. Mephisto, we think, is probably having Agnes do a lot of things to keep things in motion. And then there's Sword. But Sword could honestly be the good guy, maybe trying to help her out.
Well, let's transition that to what Mr. E wants to talk about. The Geraldine and Wanda scene. Go for it.
That was great.
yeah, that one. But that one was interesting because how it goes is, Wanda's looking at her babies because they're twins, and she goes, I was a twin, or I had a twin, or yeah, I was a twin, and
No, she says, I am a twin.
I am a twin. And does she mentions her brother's name, right?
I had
His
a
name
brother
was-
once.
Yeah, his name was Pietro. But then when it pans to Geraldine's face, we see there's like a snap, like a wait a minute, I've heard that name before. And then she's kind of speaking out loud, like confusedly, like, wait, Pietro, was killed by Ultron. And then she goes, what did you say? And then she's like, oh, blah, 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 and she's trying to get out of that situation. But I was very interested to seeing Geraldine's face, because it seemed like if she knew, if she's like, my problem is I don't think she has full control of thinking and stuff like that.
No, I don't think so
world. She doesn't have full control of memory and stuff like that. Maybe Sword did probably put her into this world, but they've probably tried other ways that just haven't worked before. And maybe their idea was, okay, we're going to put this person in. Or maybe when you enter that reality, you just forget everything. But then the name just brought her back to maybe reading a little excerpt or something like that about Pietro being killed. And so does this mean it's like is Geraldine the only one in this world that is forgotten or is a real person?
What if she's a sleeper agent like Winter Soldier?
So,
dang.
she says Pietro. She starts fighting him. Or
Who the hell's Pietro?
It's one of the words in the book.
Pietro, Ultron.
But yeah, that was odd. That was super odd. And then she's basically thrown out of that reality of some sort.
That was cool.
And so I'm just trying to think. It's like, okay, who else is in this world right now, in this reality, that is, because we've all seen some of the characters snapping out of their sense. So who is truly putting people in this like little state of I don't know, confusion or a daze of just like not knowing who they are or what has happened before? Who's doing that?
Who's doing this to you, Wanda?
Yeah, who's doing this to you, Wanda? But who is doing that to Geraldine? It's like, what? Because Wanda still has full memory. She still remembers things. She still remembers Pietro. She still remembers that her brother was killed by Ultron. So she still has the thoughts. So she hasn't forgotten everything. But yet Geraldine, who we think was thrown in there by Sword, completely, everything in her memory was gone until she mentioned the name. So I don't know. I thought that was a bit odd.
I have a question. What department was Jimmy Woo working for in Ant-Man versus the Wasp? Or Ant-Man and the Wasp?
Wasn't he FBI?
So why are the FBI looking for Wanda right now, if he was FBI?
Well, I think he's like transitioned to Sword.
Is he Sword? Okay.
Yeah.
Now, let's take a step back a little bit. Obviously, the first episode, we saw someone watching her on the TV, and it was revealed to be a Sword logo. Second episode, Jimmy Woo, who we think is Jimmy Woo.
Randall Park, yeah.
Yeah. He's going through the radio trying to contact her. And that was actually something they played at the end of the episode too, real quick, just to kind of remind you about that. This episode, Geraldine we find out is a member of Sword, and she's kind of been in there for the last 2 episodes, just kind of infiltrating and seeing what's going on. My question is, was she sent in there to monitor things, or is she kind of like? Is she kind of like a character Sword placed in there on purpose just to kind of monitor things, or was she trying to get Wanda out of that reality?
I don't know, because the thing is like she's in that world, but if she was to monitor all that, wouldn't she? It seems literally to me, it seems like she was in a daze. So maybe she was thrown in there with like a hidden camera,
and that brings me back to like a Winter Soldier type thing. Was she kind of like a sleeper agent where they put her into one thing, but then something made her snap? Not exactly like killer like Winter Soldier, but she's just a sleeper. Like they put her in this trance to fit in this TV world. Yeah. But then when they brought up Pietro, it brought up the memories of Pietro and Ultron, and I think that was something that she was told, because obviously Sword is a big factor in this. So I don't know. It's kind of hard.
So
And then, you know what?
interesting.
Whatchamacallit, her mom, obviously, from Captain Marvel, was in the Air Force with Captain Marvel herself. So that makes me wonder what happened to her when she grew up. Did she join the FBI? Did she join the military? Like, where did she end up? So I kind of want to know a little bit about her, too. Like, where did she end up?
So, okay, I think one possible answer of all of this is, remember in episode 2, we hear 2, like, vroom sounds, right? We hear one, that's the helicopter toy, and the second is the beekeeper. I truly believe that wasn't always a helicopter toy. I think what happens is when people enter this reality bubble, they morph into whatever fits that time period or fits that. So I truly believe that Monica was in that helicopter. Her mother was an Air Force pilot. Maybe she was piloting the helicopter. And when it went into the bubble, because no one in Sword understands what this bubble is, she morphed into Geraldine, right? Someone who didn't know who her past was, didn't know anything about her, but now became a character for this sitcom. And that helicopter became a toy. Right. And I think she was meant to observe. She was meant to do whatever Sword had her do. But because she entered that bubble, same as the beekeeper, I don't think that beekeeper is just someone who is an actual beekeeper. I think it was someone from Sword, another person who was meant to infiltrate, like Geraldine, and they morphed into this beekeeper.
And I think a good reference for that is in episode T, during the magic show, she appears out the door and she goes, how was I put into this closet? I think that's the same idea of how was she put into this world? Okay. It's a little reference there that she has no
just
clue.
Like a bloop.
Yeah. So it's interesting.
Yeah, that Ultron scene and that Pietro mentioned, starts to get me to believe Evan Peters and James Spader are potentially coming back to the show, which brings me to my theory after she gets shot at the bubble.
Okay.
I think this next episode is going to take a break from the reality stuff, maybe, and we're going to focus on her point of view outside of the bubble and how she got to where she was and where she ended up. And I think the episode after that will go back into like that world, because that's a lot of people. That's what I've been reading a lot, and I'm kind of leaning towards it right now. Is that they're going to focus the next episode on her point of view of outside the world,
Monica Rambeau's
more in depth. However, they might save all that for the end of the end of the show, So I mean,
they did say those last 3 episodes are insane, which I also think will be a lot more than 25-minute long episodes. So.
That'd be great if
They
they're all each
better
like an
be.
hour and a half.
Oh
I'd be
my
like,
gosh,
here
I'll
we
be
go.
so mad.
Now we're talking.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Maybe
No,
they're
but
saving all their
like,
screen time for those episodes. That's what
I agree with you guys that they have to do that. They have to, especially with, we saw from we saw it become Letterbox when it was just standard definition, stretched out, and then when you see Monica flying out, then you see the letterbox shape. So it's like, this is the reality.
This is reality.
And then all the Sword people who we think is Sword.
Yeah, that's what we
drive up.
think it's Sword. Yeah. So
There has to be some kind of payoff. But I do want to talk about that because I feel like this episode kind of disproved one of my theories from last episode, which, by the way, this is theory time, where I said how this was probably done on the same shield base, same military base that Captain America was made in. No. It doesn't look like that because it looks like it's all temporary building.
What is it called?
Sword?
Westview, right?
Westview?
Yeah. Westview is the town. Yeah.
Okay.
It's maybe it's like Call of Duty. It's like a nuke town.
Yeah.
I truly believe that's what this is. I truly believe that it is like an abandoned town that she maybe it was a town that already existed and she arrived and like entrapped everybody, like the doctor says, so hard to escape. And now everybody has to, again, Twilight Zone episode, everybody has to go to her bidding and has to be all happy and you do anything that Wanda wants. Oh, you want to be in the 70s now? Okay, we're in the 70s now. Oh, you want to be in the 80s? Okay, we're in the 80s now. But I truly...
The perimeter surrounding... I have a still image of like the very last scene of where they show her shine down and then the cars and then the background. A lot of people are saying the perimeter is reminiscent to the one established by S.H.I.E.L.D. when they surrounded Mjolnir.
Oh yes,
and
yes, like
Thor.
it was all temporary stuff.
So
yeah.
it looks like tents. It looks like temporary buildings put up.
Oh yeah,
and
it's like they built it right away. Like they had to.
we
get
can
around it
confirm now
quickly.
that Westview is a real place because when she
a
comes
little
out of this
welcome
bubble,
to Westview.
the sign is just kind of run
And that
down.
sign is outside of the bubble, like it would be actual guests driving into Westview. Like it's
Right.
not something of her apparition that she's creating, but it's something like I think the sign, you can pull it up, Zaragoza. I think it says like home is what you make of it or something like that. It's like something really ominous. It's like kind of goes with the idea of like, oh, Wanda's making this. But again, it could easily be a red herring for us to believe that Wanda's in charge. But like as we saw in previous episodes, things are happening that she has no explanation for, like with Dottie and like with Mr. Hart and the Stork now. Like there's things that are happening that Wanda's like.
So I brought up that Thor mention because it says right here they're supporting the idea that S.W.O.R.D. consider themselves S.H.I.E.L.D.'s spiritual successor and hinting they may play a key role in Phase 4 and beyond.
Oh, I hope so. I sure hope so.
I think it's going to be
is
like the new
no more.
S.H.I.E.L.D. in a way because I think Fury's running it from up top with the what are those aliens called? The
with the scroll
scrolls.
in his
The
little
he was on
like,
his little
holographic
vacation during
beach.
Spider-Man, and now he's he just walked. Where are my shoes?
That, literally, if we're gonna see him at all in this series, it's him just putting on his shoes.
I found my shoes. They brought him to
Found my
Westview.
shoes. Boom, pitch black.
Let's talk about that ending song though, dude.
Okay, go for it.
Obviously, Daydream Believer by the Monkees. Very great song choice if you really
do
listen
well
to the
with that
lyrics
one.
as to what's going on in there.
Yeah.
Obviously, one of the lyrics being a happily ever after. You hear that a couple times. There's a, it's just this whole being it daydream believer. And she's in this kind of, in a way, metaphorically, a daydream or a dream of some sort, reality that she or someone created. So I think that was it was time appropriate for the episode.
Yeah.
And it was
Yeah.
such a good ending to leave you wondering, like, oh, Daydream Believer, if you really pay attention to that song, that's talking about being in this daydream together, living happily ever after.
The producer next to me is a Monkey fan, and he wants to point out that Monkey was a fake band in a fake world, kind of like how Wanda's characters are fake in a fake world.
I love
so
that.
maybe that's even more why
There
they
you
chose that
go.
song. How appropriate.
Marvel
I
knows
honestly
what they're
think
doing, man.
Is the monkeys like the gorillas?
I would not be surprised if this is James Gunn. I would not be surprised if James Gunn was like, oh, I have the perfect song. You're doing a show about a fake girl in a fake world. Boom. Here you go. From the 70s, you're welcome. Yeah. So
There you go.
that's James Gunn's work.
That's pretty much the whole episode. So
Yep, that was it. That's why when you said it wasn't a good one, I'm like,
It was like I don't know. I guess it's like cause it's kind of like Whiplash, but that's kind of the whole point of this show. That like we went from the previous episodes where we're seeing more of the world, we're seeing more of the town, how the town is changing, how everyone's changing. But I guess you can't really do that for 9 episodes. But like this one, I did like the little cutaway to Jones and Dottie. Like, did these earrings make me look fat? Oh, thank God. Like that was funny.
that was great, dude.
But like, it makes sense. They're stepping away from the gimmick even more than they were in the previous episode, and now
So-
showing in this next episode. This is what's actually happening.
There's something I want to start doing from this episode on, and I know we're probably going to be covering more Marvel shows in the future. Obviously, we have a great slate of stuff this year.
Yeah.
Let's start doing what we think is going to. Let's take all the information we just talked about, what we think is going to happen in the next episode. Stuff
In the
to
next
look out
episode?
for. Stuff to look out for and keep an eye on for future episodes of the next episode. Today we talked about, obviously, we knew this is now a bubble, and Westview is a real place, and S.W.O.R.D. looking like they got a similar setup to S.H.I.E.L.D. like in Thor. Geraldine obviously shot out. So next episode, are we going to see before that, or are we going to see it pick up right from there and maybe S.W.O.R.D. talking to her? Are we going to get into the real world more MCU style, film style in this next episode? Are they going to continue going to the sitcoms and just keep going from there?
So, I my theory for this next episode is, and I'm like trying to remember the movie I'm thinking of right now. Okay, did either of you see Defending Jacob? It was an Apple TV series with Chris Evans. No, okay.
No.
The
Heard
whole
it's good,
series
though.
is Chris Evans is a lawyer, and the whole series is he's recounting what happened with his son and with his wife.
Right.
That's like so it's like there's questions that the prosecutor is giving him, and he's responding to them in these flashbacks. I think it's gonna be something similar with this, where we're gonna see Jimmy Woo, we're gonna see Darla, Darcy, not Darla.
Darcy.
About Finding Nemo. So Darcy and Jimmy Woo, they're gonna be like, what happened? And then that's gonna be the flashbacks of her getting ready for this. Flashbacks, maybe even like where she was when this bubble formed, right? Like when she learned about it. I don't think we're gonna see the bubble form yet. I think we're gonna see from her perspective, like, okay, there's this bubble now, it's over here, and then them choosing her to go in, and then her figuring out, like, I think it would be really cool is if there's like this moment of a break where she goes in and she remembers, and it like literally it's like her going in the bubble and then cuts to Wanda singing in Sokovian. Like she doesn't have any memory of her as Geraldine. I think that would be pretty cool.
Oh, something we forgot to mention too. That was the first time in the show we heard her accent again.
That's true. When she said Pietro. Yeah.
Yeah. And I was like, finally, we hear it again. I'm sorry. That was driving me nuts last episode, and I was just like, I really want to hear her accent.
Did you hear Elizabeth Olsen's explanation for the losing of the accent?
I did. Yeah, she said that this is all like they're playing parts in a role. And
okay. I was referring
I heard
to
that's
how
what she said in one interview. She said they're playing parts in a role that you're eventually going to hear it again. That since they're playing these characters, that there's no need for it right now, but you will hear it again.
Yeah, 'cause I think it was an older interview that she said it was Black Widow had taught her how to lose the accent.
Yeah, from Civil War.
Yeah.
But I had heard in
like
a recent
that
interview
better.
for WandaVision that she said that since they're playing characters in a role, that you'll eventually hear it again. But since she's playing these characters, that the character doesn't have the accent, so that's why it's gone.
Gotcha.
But
See, my theory, and I like that idea that we're going to cut to reality. Because if you think about it, we only got 3 more episodes for 3 different decades.
they would be stupid not to do that
80s,
70s show. I'm just saying.
90s.
with Mrs. Hard going.
I know they missed that. We got 80s,
That's all I
90s, and
want.
2000s left. We have 3 more for that. So what
Okay.
if we get a reality episode, but we don't just get 1 reality episode. We get
have
2 in
4.
a row. What? We have 4 more?
But 2010's not a decade now?
Yeah, that's a decade. So they
That's
can
a
easily touch
decade.
on like
80s,
I don't-
90s, 2000, 2010.
Okay, so we have 4 more decades.
you can do
Well, for the
dramas because
2020s
dramas are big right
beeps.
now.
So then there'll be 7 episodes. So I think we're gonna get 2 reality episodes. This one coming
Yeah.
up. Then we're gonna go
Yeah.
back to 80s, 90s, 2000s, 2010s,
But I don't think they're going to be as focused.
which will enter the final episode, which is a reality.
Yeah, I'm with
That's a
Thomas
good-
on that. They're not going to be as focused on
Yeah.
the timeline. Something's going to interfere. That's going to set
No,
up
because
the bigger
especially
plot.
now, like now we understand it's a gimmick. Now we understand as a viewer, like, okay, this isn't real. So why would the showrunners then put us back in the gimmick, even though we know that's like it's a waste of our time?
for the hell of it,
Like,
because it's awesome.
Yeah, just for fun. I still want to.
80s. I want to see
Screw
some. I wanna see
you! We're doing
I want
it.
to see some freaking. I want to see them make fun of Knight Rider. I want to see them make fun of like all these
They're
other
gonna
shows.
do 80s and 90s.
Instead of
Still, I know
freaking,
they
instead
are.
of freaking Wanda going into a Knight Rider car, it's a freaking Vision
You're
car.
back in the bubble.
Yeah, that's the point. They're gonna make you go right back in it. You're like, oh.
Maybe they make fun of Buffy the Vampire Slayer in the 90s, dude.
Oh my
Vision the
okay.
Vampire Slayer, man.
Yeah. That's why I think they're only going to go up to the 2000s and not farther than that. I don't think they're going to go 2010. I think they'll do 3 more
2000s. Let's bring
episodes.
back an old one. Let's make fun of the OC.
There you go. No, Lost. It's gonna make fun of
Lost,
Lost
there you
since
go.
this
There
is
you
like
go.
all
That would
kind
make
of like
sense.
Lost
See,
anyway.
that would make sense. Lost
Yeah.
would be great.
So I think there's 3 more episodes like that, and then 3.
I don't know, man. I think we got a lot to go. It's going to be fun. I'm theorizing next episode we're going to see outside of the bubble maybe and see more of maybe we'll be introduced more to Sword. Maybe a formal introduction is needed. But I'm excited to see what happens next week, and I can't wait to talk about it next week again. Hopefully we'll get more Easter eggs. If they do go outside, we'll see more maybe character
Yeah.
mentions. I don't know. We'll see.
And there you have it. That has been our latest episodes. Is this episode 3 already of the TLEV show? Damn, episode 3. Well, we're talking about episode 3 of WandaVision. We talked about Godzilla versus Kong. We also talked about Larry King and the birthdays. And so if you like that episode, please make sure to rate this on whatever podcast platform you are listening to. If you're on our YouTube channel, make sure to hit that subscribe button for TLEV Media. And while you're at it, go check out Nights of Horror YouTube channel as well. Of course, we have Tony here. He is our go-to everything DC Comics and Marvel news. So thank you so much, Tony, for joining us once again with this amazing episode of the TLEV show. Mr. E, you're expected to be here, but thank you again for joining for this topic of, WandaVision. Anyway, thank you all so much for listening to. Any shout outs, anything that we want to say at the end? Go.
2,000 subscribers. Thank everyone for that. I love all of you guys and the TLEV audience. It's the reason why I'm here is because of these guys. So,
yeah. I don't have anything to say.
Yes, you do. Are you hungry? Do you want something a little sweet? Well, then make sure to go on over to the Spooky Snacks at the Spooky Snacks on Instagram.com.
Delicious cookies.
Delicious. Those are the most amazing cookies. And you know what? If
We
you're in
got
the LA
Valentine's
area,
Day.
it's for you.
Day.
Valentine's Day is coming up. Get your You're My Boo kit, and it's a really, really delicious
I am
one.
not just saying it because they're my friends, but these cookies are legit the best.
pretty good,
I had the
actually.
chocolate chip. Amazing.
I've never had such delicious cookies. That there's s'more cookie. Oh my gosh, that was so
It's
good.
good. I gotta buy another pack next week.
Yes,
And you're my boo.
we tried their macaron, and you know what? It was good.
Pretty
They
solid.
got
Also have
the
to build your
flavor
own kit
right.
so you can have fun with the little ones at
Yeah.
home. That's amazing. I think that's a great concept. So that's available as well.
Yeah. So make sure to check them out. All the links are in the description down below. Of course, I'm Thomas.
I'm Mystery.
I'm Anthony.
Thank you all so much for listening, and we'll see you next week when we talk more and debate and discuss pop culture. Bye.